Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kathy Reed, and I'm the co-founder of Illuminate, Psychic Fair, and more. Our fair at the end of January is going to be absolutely amazing. We're stepping into our 7th year, and it's Illuminate 2020 Psychic Fair and more at the Coast Capri Hotel in Kelowna. We have 60 exhibitors, 7 speakers, and a panel of experts just waiting to answer all of your questions that you have. We're giving away prizes on the hour. It's just going to be an incredible weekend. We're starting the weekend off on January the 30th with our keynote presentation in the evening with Elizabeth Beeds and Colette Marie Stephan. So for all the information regarding this incredible event, you go to www.illuminateyourlife.ca. So I have with us today Bonita Summers, and she is a business coach and a psychic coach, I would say. And she is the creator of our new website. And so I'm so grateful for that, Bonita. And you're part of the Illuminate team. So welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you,
Before we get into just talking about what you're going to be doing at the fair, I'd like you to share a little bit about your life. I know you come from a family of psychics. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Awesome.
Yeah, my grandmother was a medium in England. My mom inherited the gift, as did I. Now, gift, I think everybody's got this gift. It's just that some people are naturally athletic, some have to work at it. When you're born into a family of psychics, it's easier in that if I ran downstairs and said, "Mom, I heard the voices again," she would be like, "That's nice, dear." So there was never the suppression that a lot of people get when they grow up in families where this isn't the norm. It was interesting when I started school and found out how unusual my family was because of the reactions I got when I talked about these things. But part of my mission has been to normalize it, to help people work through the experiences they're having and enhance their abilities, which certainly helps them in all of their decision making, their relationships, their career, and knowing their spiritual path.
That's awesome. You know, it's interesting because I have a 3-year-old grandson, Benjamin, and he is always talking about the other side. He calls them ghosts, and he calls them good ones and bad ones, but he sees them all the time. And I'm encouraging to keep that alive and well, so it doesn't become something that gets stifled down.
Yes.
I think that was part of, for myself, we would never have discussed anything like that. And so you're great. That's an awesome experience that you actually got to be part of because it was just part of the norm. And did any time in your life, did that change or did you just carry on with it?
When I was quite young, I did have a lot of really terrifying experiences, actually. I saw a lot of things I really didn't want to see, so I tried to shut it down for a time, although there were always those bleed throughs. And as I got older, I got into my teen years, I decided I really wanted to explore it further. So I actually started doing professional readings at the age of 18. And I'm 56 now, so I've had a little practice. I find it interesting what you talk when you talk about children, though, because with my children, when I saw evidence of that, it was important to me that I validate it, but I not make a big deal out of it because I didn't want them to lose a sense of a normal childhood. I remember with my oldest, when he was about the age of 3, sitting at the kitchen table, and suddenly he looked down the hall and he was just terrified. This man was floating down the hall toward him. So suddenly he's under the table, he's freaking out. And I just taught him, if you see the man, say hi. If you're not comfortable, ask him to go away. And he saw him on and off, was a family member who had passed for about 6 months. And I knew he was okay the day he came up to me and he said, "Mom, the man has a message for you." And I said, "What's that?" "He wants you to buy me a chocolate Easter egg." Yeah, I figured he was fine. If he was exploiting his experience, he was good.
That is so funny. That's a really cute story. And you know what? Good for you to bring some light to it. The man's got a message for me. Got a message for you. I think that's adorable. That's really, really amazing. So
Well,
talk
my little
about,
boy is an RCMP officer today, so I'm sure his intuition comes in handy.
oh, wow. Yes, that is
Yeah.
fantastic. So tell us a little bit about what you're going to be offering at the fair, and then we can talk about the panel of experts which you're going to be part of. So what are you going to be doing at the fair? Could you just share with us?
Sure. I'll be offering psychic readings and chakra readings. So the difference there is with a psychic reading, I'm tapping directly into the subconscious. And the way I experience it as an empath is I will get visions, verbal messages, physical sensations, emotions. It's kind of like I'm stepping into your psyche and I'm getting the information that your subconscious most wants you to know right now. I've placed a very powerful intent. I don't get any information that isn't useful to you. So I'm not getting everything that maybe is going on in your life or it has gone on in your life that you're not ready to work on. I just get what you're ready to work with now. And with my chakra readings, I can actually see the chakras. So it's like having two kinds of vision. When I walk around in the world, I see what everybody else sees. When I shift to my inner vision, I'm now seeing things beyond what we physically project. So I look at each chakra, and depending on what I see, it tells me what's going on in that area of your life that it's related to. And I don't just tell you what I see. I give you tools to work with. I don't work predictively. I believe, we live in a quantum universe. We're creating our reality with our thoughts and our beliefs and our habits and patterns, some of them which are running under the surface and we don't really know what they are. So we get lost, we get confused. So what I do is I help you understand those patterns and learn to bring them to consciousness. So once that pattern becomes conscious, it's going to change how it operates and you're going to move into alignment with the path your soul came here to walk. So you come away with tools that are empowering, which I think is sometimes better than being told, here's what's going to happen. Sorry for your luck. So I think with anybody that even works predictively, they always know there's a possibility of shifting things. So I go right into, and here's what you can do to shift it.
Wow, that sounds absolutely fantastic. Because really, ultimately, if we if we step into our life purpose and align ourselves with why we're really actually here, and life becomes different. It does. It becomes exciting and fun, and you get up in the morning and you're more enthusiastic, and so lots of great things happen when you do that. And that's a
Yeah.
beautiful way to help people by giving them tools, something they can take away.
Well, it also gets them aligned. I call it getting under the tap. I believe, and I'm actually working on a book and an online course right now on self-love because I think that's the key to everything. We come
Fantastic.
into this world, this expansive awareness, and then we get projected on us by parents, teachers, society, these ideas about who we're supposed to be. And at first, we suppress parts of ourselves that don't fit that paradigm, and that becomes shadow. And then we start to try to be what people want us to be. And that group of ideas eventually becomes our personality, our persona. We start to believe that's who we are. And it moves us away from the path our soul came here to walk. Now, I do believe we get born into the family that plants the seeds for the patterns we need to work on. But then ultimately, it's about coming back to ourselves with that knowledge. And, we talk about going into the light. Well, I think we are the light. And we uncover more and more of that as we start to see those patterns and work through them and become more conscious. We naturally get under the tap. We're naturally aligned with source. And that gives us the energy because the universe will support us walking our path.
That I couldn't agree with you more. Absolutely, every word you said there, I am in total alignment with that, because I've experienced both sides. And you're right, we are the light. We just need to embrace that and become brighter and brighter. And of course, work with our guides and spirits and everything, every being that's around us, and the humanness. We need to work with our humanness and the people that are in our lives. I mean, otherwise we'd live on a planet by ourselves. How boring would that be? So we're on this planet of all these amazing, beautiful beings, and we should embrace that.
Well, my dear teacher, who has been my teacher since I was 13 years old, And when I was 13 and I was in school, I was supposed to do a course, not a course, a science project, a science essay, and I did it on meditation. And I got so into it when I brought about 40 pages to my teacher and said, "This is just the rough draft." He just looked at it and said, "That's fine." He didn't want to see anymore. But I started reading Ram Dass, who,
Yeah.
dear soul, recently departed.
Yeah.
And just a few weeks ago, his translator from India also departed. Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yes. So I got to a few years ago actually talk to him on Skype. So that was a really beautiful 20 minutes of getting to thank my teacher. Um, and I love what he says about we are all just walking each other home. So when you talk about the humanness, yeah, we're not supposed to be islands unto ourselves. We're supposed to do this together. We're waking up together. And I think one key thing for all of us to remember is that person we meet or is in our lives who drives us crazy, best teachers ever.
Oh, yeah.
They're holding up a mirror to our shadow, the part of ourselves we don't want to see. So a lot of my work is getting people to go into what scares them, what they're resistant to, what they don't want to look at, and learn to love and embrace all of who they are and all of their experience. What's showing up is the universe holding up a mirror to what you need to work on. And when you start to move through that resistance, you start to embrace that, your life just gets set on fire. The energy you have because you're no longer fighting your experiences or pushing down those parts inside is incredible. To me, that's the fountain of youth.
Oh, I
You
think
know?
that's absolutely amazing because you're right. We do run away from things we don't want to face. And you're
Yes.
right. The person that gets under your skin the very most is the one that is the very, very best teacher because you know you have to look at something. You know
Yeah.
that makes you feel uncomfortable, but you got to find out why you feel uncomfortable. Why is it that
Yes.
why are they be able to push your buttons? I remember when I was an EFT coach saying to people that if that person's pushing your buttons, you really do need to go inside and see why they're pushing your buttons. What is it about that
Well, and I
experience
think even
or that?
even more precise is
Mhm,
nobody can get you riled up if there
exactly.
wasn't already something inside of you before you even met them that they could trigger.
Absolutely. I'm in total agreement with that.
Right.
It has to
So
live
we can
within
either
you.
say, yeah, so we can either say, could you stop doing that thing that's driving me up the wall? Or we can go, why am I so attached?
Yeah.
What is this about for me? Because enlightenment isn't some blissful state. It's we're observing and we're no longer attached. You know, in Buddhism, they say we suffer through attachment and aversion. I want this wonderful experience to last. I want this awful one to stop. And because we are like that, we suffer. Whereas if we can approach everything with equanimity, this is joy. Oh, that's pain, anger, fear, lust, love. I accept it all. Then we are flowing down the river. We're not fighting the current.
That's absolutely amazing what you're sharing there because it's such truth. And I really hope that people embrace that truth within themselves. It's just lovely to hear you speak those words. So,
Well, I feel so privileged to get to work at your event. I can't believe it's been 7 years. That's crazy.
I
Um,
know.
because everybody walking in that door is really willing to look at themselves. How remarkable, how courageous people are who come to these events, who come to self improvement, self realization, who are willing to say, I don't want to live in illusion, a fantasy. I want the good and gritty information here that I can now work with and take that into the coming year.
I think 2020 is starting to open that door for lots of people. I remember on my journey, I always felt like there was something missing. I was super busy, had a family, and all the good things that go on with life, but there was something inside of me just felt like it needed to grab onto or step into or have a knowing inside me that I was more than just what was going on
Mhm.
around me. And I think 2020 is going to actually embrace, I hope people will embrace 2020. And it's going to be a really exciting year for everybody.
I have to agree. My feeling around 2020 is that this is the year where all the things that have been percolating in the background that you didn't find time for, this is the year where you make those things happen. This is the year where you, in my case, write that book, create that course that's been sitting in the background for years, just gestating. This is the year where you do it. And we're all of us who are at Illuminate are going to support you in that. So whether you work with us once and you get a real good nugget of truth to take with you, or whether you work with us on an ongoing basis, I think one thing that's really important for people to know is all the people who come to Illuminate, quite a few of them will work with you long distance. So whether you're living in Kelowna and you work with some of us in our offices, or you're working with somebody from Nanaimo who you really connected with, really take a good look at the information people have on their tables, talk to them. If you really resonate with somebody, don't let a limiting belief keep you from doing some ongoing work. Like, oh, well, this is a one-time event and I can't get this again. We're all there, but we're working all year, year round. I have a lot of people who now come to see me on a weekly basis because they want to go deep into the rabbit hole and get to the juiciness of who they are. So I
Oh,
encourage, really get to know the people who are at the tables. Even if
yeah,
you don't have
that's
a
so
session with somebody
exciting.
right there and then, get their information and talk to them.
Yeah, that's so exciting because we really do need to get to the core of the issue for sure. And once you actually address those things, life becomes way more fun.
It is exciting. You are an
So exciting.
adventure. You know, you are exciting. Everybody has something beautiful and unique inside of them. I've been doing this work for all these years since I was 18, like I said, and I'm never bored because everybody I meet, there's something amazing inside of them. And I love helping people fall back in love with themselves and embrace all of that. And I will support if they come in angry, fearful, sad, because those are parts of them coming to consciousness saying, please acknowledge me. You know, I posted something on my Instagram the other day, and one of the things I post my own quotes, and I said, you know, the hurt inside of you is just waiting for you to notice. And when we stop and we go inward and we see the richness of what's there, and you have the ongoing support of somebody who will help you through the messiness of that, you come out so much more integrated and therefore so much more capable of living the life you came here to live. And that's
Oh,
something to celebrate.
that sounds amazing. And that is a celebration. Absolutely, totally a celebration. Well, you'll find Bonita in booth number 217. She actually is part of our expert panel. You can see why. This lady is so full of wisdom and caring, loving energy. You have to come. The panel of experts is at on the Sunday, and it's at 3:30. It's our final presentation, if you would like to call it, and you come there with your questions, and we'll be asking these beautiful women all these questions, and Bonita will be one of those beautiful experts that are part of it. So thank you, Bonita.
Oh, thank you, Kathy. And thank you for again hosting this amazing event. It's just such an incredible experience. I tell everybody, you've got to come out to Illuminate. It is the event you can't miss in the Okanagan. And for me, it's like old home week. I get to meet all my friends. And that's the thing I really love about what you do. You've created an environment that nurtures all of us to join in something beautiful together. It's not competitive. It's very loving and mutually supportive because, again, we're all going there together. So I have to thank you and Jerry and Tommy and everybody else who's been involved, and Michael, who's doing a wonderful job with the cameras today, and all your volunteers for really creating something unique. It's such a loving and supportive experience. It's truly spiritual. So thank you.
Thank you. That's so lovely. Thank you. And we appreciate you being part of it. I mean, without all of you, it wouldn't exist. So thank you for all your time and loving, encouraging words. We really appreciate that. So
It's an absolute pleasure.
For all the information for Illuminate 2020 Psychic Fair and more, you go to www.illuminateyourlife.ca. She created the website. Thank you and much love. Many blessings. Bye-bye, everybody.
And all our viewers. Thank you, everyone.